friends, welcome to the All-Canadian Reptile Girl. I'm Annaliese, and I had the weirdest dream the other night. I was invisible. I had a spouse. They were invisible. I don't even know what we saw in each other. Come to think of it, our kids weren't much to look at either. Strange, right? But highly topical, because today we're talking about the most invisible reptile I have in my care, which might also be the absolute very best pet gecko you or anyone else could ask for. Let's meet Eurydactylodes veillardi, the chameleon gecko. So this is thing one. She has a bit more growing to do, but she is an adult chameleon gecko. This one here is her mate, thing two, who is the same age, but as you can see, significantly smaller. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. They can't cling to my arm hairs. It's fine. We'll get to more about the differences, stop running away, between males and females in a minute. We got these two from my friend Steve at Snakes and Coffee. Please go check out his channel. I have two others that I got from another friend you might know about, Emmeline Sampson, who also has several videos on care and breeding for these guys. You should go check out her channel too. She is great, especially if you're planning on getting one of these guys, which you should. Did you just bite me? I put them away. They're too small and there were too many of them and they were going too fast and I'm shaky, so yes. All right, there are 4 species of Eurydactylodes, commonly known as chameleon geckos or prehensile tail geckos. We've got Eurydactylodes agricoliae, Bauer's chameleon geckos. There's Eurydactylodes occidentalis, Eurydactylodes symmetricus, and then there's these guys who I just put away. Eurydactylodes veillardi, the veillards or Beauvais chameleon gecko, which are probably the ones you'll most likely see in the hobby. As a whole, all 4 species are pretty similar in size, appearance, and behavior, and all are endemic to Grande Terre, the main island of New Caledonia. But I'll focus on these guys in particular here as, like I said 10 seconds ago, they're the ones you are most likely to see available as pets. Oh, while I do help take care of the Euries, they're actually more of my mom's project, so she'll be talking to you in the alternate/side views. Okay, let's whoosh.
Hi friends, I'm Elka. Unless your name is Annaliese, in which case I'm Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Annaliese.
Hi.
And I'm here today to help Annaliese talk to you about chameleon geckos because they may have been my idea to add to our reptile family. And I have zero regrets. Just wait until you see their babies. These adorable and tiny lizards max out at around 6 centimeters from snout to vent with a tail about the same length as their head and body. So 12 centimeters or 5-ish inches in total. Females tend to be significantly longer than males, who top out at around 3 to 4 inches total length. And size is not the only difference between males and females. In addition to being longer, females are also much more robust with a bigger, bulkier head and body and a more muscular tail. There will be more on this tail in a minute. They are deceptively cool. Females are a light olive green color, while males tend to have a lot more variability in their coloring, sporting a mottled green, gray, dark, barky, mossy look with a little fancy yellow patches where their little leggies meet their teeny cocktail weenie bodies. Both males and females can alter the intensity of their coloring, firing up and firing down, which helps them to blend in a bit or communicate moods, much like many of the chameleons from whom they get their common name. Their scales are much larger than what you'd expect for such a small lizard, giving them a really cool, bumpy, speckled look. This works really well to break up their profile, allowing them to blend in, which they do incredibly well. They also have the coolest eyes, to me anyway. It's like they have like a little toothy mouth in there. I hope we can really get some good close-up B-roll, else this sentence is not going to make sense and sound really weird.
It's okay, I'll make sure you don't look like a crazy person.
Oh gosh, thanks, honey.
You're welcome.
All this to say, these guys are small, green, adorable lizards, which you can clearly see in the B-roll that Annaliese is probably running over this sentence. So why am I even describing them? So we can tease exactly how incredibly good these guys are at hiding. We'll get to that in a minute. Annaliese has a really terrible pun locked and loaded for me for that segment. Sorry. Stay tuned. Sorry. But before that, let's take a look at their amazing but miniature wall climbing equipment.
Like many geckos, chameleon geckos excel at climbing using grippy toe pads. These toe pads are covered in thousands upon thousands of microscopic hairs that use a combination of van der Waals force, surface tension, capillary action, and I don't know, black magic to allow them to grip onto surfaces with incredible strength. I actually did a whole video on the amazing properties of gecko feet, but since I did that, there has actually been some changes to our understanding of how all that works. So perhaps, if you guys are interested, I can revisit that topic. Let me know in the comments. But in a nutshell, their incredible hairy feet give them a superhero-like grip, allowing them to climb effortlessly on vertical surfaces. As an added bit of protection, they also have cool scansorial pads on their tail, which have a similar structure and properties to their toes that they can then use to help secure them as they climb. Sort of like a built-in safety harness, I guess. And that's a good segue into talking about their tails, eh? Look at me, doing segues well.
Great.
Mom already mentioned that Eurydactylodes have a muscular tail. And if you paid attention at the beginning when I referenced one of their common names being prehensile tail gecko, you might be piecing together how they might use their tail. With their strength, mobility, and their grippy scansorial tail, chameleon geckos are able to use that tail to support their weight, increasing their ability to hold onto a perch, acting as a safety line by keeping them anchored, or even catching them if they fall. This tail is so important that should it be lost, it will grow back as a very similar looking and functioning tail to replace it, unlike many geckos that either don't grow back a tail at all, like crested geckos, or the tail grows back as a sort of Wish.com version of the original, like gargoyle or leopard geckos do. Also, unlike many geckos, they cannot drop their tail voluntarily. That's called autotomy, if you didn't know. It will come off if pulled or pinched, but they can't just decide to drop it as a distraction, as many geckos do. So, their tail is powerful, relative to their size, useful, and can regenerate Time Lord style. But it also provides a really cool secret defense that they use against predators. When really scared, like really scared, these guys can secrete from their tail a thick, sticky, foul-smelling, noxious goo that they can squirt out at potential predators. Getting this in the mouth, eyes, or nose can be really irritating and just might make a predator think twice about eating this little meat gummy bear. Knowing that might put you off keeping one of these guys as a pet because seriously, who wants to get slimed? But fear not. I have spoken to many people who have kept and even bred these guys for years, and not a single one has reported actually seeing this in action. So either this is a clever lie perpetrated by Big Crested Gecko engaging in a negative PR campaign to undermine these guys as an amazing pet gecko, or this is truly a last-ditch defense, and the likelihood of you getting slimed is about as small as one of their nostrils. Incredibly small, if you can infer. In either case, their tail is unquestionably awesome.
Just as awesome is their ability to somehow be active, curious, adventurous even, little lizards whilst being entirely invisible. I would hazard a guess that aside from our garter snakes or Raylan or Schneider skink, or maybe Agatha, my redfoot tortoise, these guys are the most active reptiles in our home.
Such athleticism!
But you almost never see them move about.
But how?
I don't know. Maybe these guys are part weeping angel. It's rare to actually catch one moving around unless I'm misting their enclosure. But I can tell you that every single time I take a minute or 5 to peek in and find one, they will probably not be in the same position the next time I walk by, even if it's literally seconds later.
It occurs to me that the less nerdily inclined of my viewers might not have gotten the Weeping Angel reference a second ago. Weeping Angels are Doctor Who creatures, villains, they're entities that are extremely fast but are quantum locked as stone when observed, meaning that they can only move if no one can see them, even themselves. So if you are looking at a Weeping Angel, you're fine, you're all good. It can't hurt you. But if you blink...
Don't turn your back. Don't look away, and don't blink. Good luck.
Whammo! It's touched you and sent you back in time and lets you live to death while they feed on your displaced temporal energy or some other wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey thing. That's the reference. These guys are they just move when you're not looking. That's all. That's 2 Doctor Who references and a t-shirt in one video. We're catching up on Doctor Who if you haven't figured that out. We just finished it, actually.
Yeah, we're all caught up.
Yeah, look at us.
Yeah.
Being caught up on something that's been out for years.
Love it.
Anywho.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If you haven't figured it out yet, these guys are the masters and mistresses of camouflage. A huge advantage in accomplishing this is, well, by being tiny. It's a lot easier to hide if you're wee. No mystery there. But they also take advantage of their color and the mottled pattern to blend in perfectly against a stick or a branch. They tend to really smoosh themselves into their chosen hiding spot and basically become one with the branch. Here, let's play a game. There's a Yuri in here. Can you find him? Anything? No? Okay, let's look again. There he is. Did you spot him? If you did, high five, good on you. If not, don't worry, that's kind of the point. Okay, now let's look at the same tank again about 5 minutes later. Do you see him? Here he is if you didn't. Pretty impressive, right? I guess you could say that they are the geckonosaurs of hiding. Geckonosaurs? That was the terrible pun that I referenced earlier.
You're welcome.
No, you guys out there, you can inform the comedy police and advise them to address all complaints.
Awards.
And the infraction tickets to Annaliese.
And
no, tickets to Annaliese.
compliments of my genius.
Yeah, the P.O. box is in the description. She wrote the script. I'm so sorry. I don't know where we went wrong.
With creating genius. Despite their propensity and skill at hiding, they are actually surprisingly bold. We mentioned that they regularly, if cryptically, move about their enclosure throughout the day. At night, this is actually quite helpful. Like, I'm surprised at how helpful it is. And I feel a bit silly, but it's helping. If you're wondering why I have a Godzilla thing, one, he's always in the background of my videos, but I don't know what to do with my hands when I'm not holding an animal, and it's weird and it's throwing me off. So I have Godzilla now. Welcome him to the show. At night, they're a little more active, or at least more overt about their movements, and they're widely regarded as nocturnal, which they may very well be in the wild, but from what I see in mine, I would describe them more as cathemeral, which is basically they are up and awake whenever they want or need to be. Day, night, dusk, dawn, it doesn't matter. For handling, I find that they tolerate being picked up and handled really well. The hardest part is just finding them in the enclosure and then maneuvering around all of the little twigs to pick them up. They do an adorable little scooch around their branch when you first reach in, but other than that, they usually don't struggle or resist or try to flee when picked up. A great way to work with them is to just let them explore hand to hand and then kind of just let them wander where they like. Just remember that they are small, and while not as jumpy as, say, a crested gecko, they can be quite quick. And they are very, very light, so you might not feel them on your skin a lot. So just keep a close eye on them as they move about and keep your movements slow and gentle. A great way to build trust and relationship with your Yuri is to offer a bit of food. Crested gecko diet or a bit of mushy, overripe fruit is great because associating time out with you with food is a powerful way to build a positive association. In terms of care, these guys are pretty easy to manage. I'll quickly share what we do, but please keep in mind, this isn't a care guide, but I will link to a couple of actual care guides in the description if you want more detailed information, and also check out Emmeline Sampson because she read the ones I have, so go check her out as well for this stuff. For us, for now, we have 4 adult geckos in 3 small exoterium enclosures. I will be upgrading them to some bigger homes at some point, but they are perfectly fine for now. I have 2 females in one tank and a male each in the other 2. You can probably infer from that cohabbing in certain situations is okay. You can house a male and female, or multiple females with that male together, no problem, but you will end up with babies. Not necessarily a bad thing, but just something to keep in mind, and there will be more on that in a minute. Females can usually be housed together as well, but multiple males housed together are likely to create a bit of tension with some territorial behavior being exhibited. Biting, chasing, fighting, that kind of thing. So you gotta keep the dudes apart. Their natural environment is pretty temperate, so as long as you keep your house at a reasonable temperature, you shouldn't need a heat lamp. You're looking at temps between 21 to 26, 27 degrees. That's 70 to 80 degrees in freedom units if you're a bald eagle. Providing good quality UVB is highly recommended. Many sources suggest that it is not absolutely necessary for them to manufacture vitamin D, but it does help them do it better, and you want your geckos to be as healthy and as happy as possible, right? Right. So give them UVB. In terms of decor, think twiggy, not branchy. They are an arboreal species, but there's arboreal, gestures up high, and then there's arboreal, gestures down low. This is out of the camera range, but down low.
Did you read your screen directions?
Shh. These guys are not generally going to be way up high, up in big trees, clinging to wide tree trunks. Their version of arboreal is like low bushes my height, and I am not tall. A few meters off the ground, that is it. So emulate that in your enclosure setup. Small twigs set up mostly vertically. Make sure they are at angles so that they can crisscross to allow them to move easily from branch to branch though. Feeding is easy. Powdered crested gecko diet mixed with water every other day. We like the ones with bugs in it, as I have yet to see them successfully hunt any bug I've offered. And we want to make sure that they are getting their buggy protein, obviously. I still offer some pinhead crickets occasionally, but I don't really know if they actually get them or not. I don't typically see any after putting them in the enclosure, so maybe they just don't like an audience when they're being fearsome predators. That must be it. You know, they just want to maintain the goofy, cute persona. We give their enclosure a gentle misting every day, and that's about it. Really easy.
So let's talk babies. Eurydactylodes are extremely easy to breed, as I found out firsthand. Yes, we've got babies. And yes, we deliberately waited until near the end of the video to show you. I'm told that we have to keep that viewer retention up. Right?
Yep.
Yep. And to answer your question, yes, they are as itty bitty and impossibly cute as you're imagining. Adults apparently have a little courtship ritual that is quite cute. Although I cannot speak to that because I haven't seen it. But after mating, fertilizing, developing the eggs, the female will lay a clutch of usually 2 very tiny eggs in a shallow nest secluded somewhere spot in the enclosure. Instead of abandoning the eggs, like many reptiles, the female will carefully arrange them, and some observations actually suggest that they may display guarding behavior during the incubation period. They can produce and lay eggs every, nope, right numbers, 3 to 4 weeks, and the eggs themselves will hatch in about 60 to 90 days to reveal the most absolutely adorable, tiniest little lizards you can imagine. The babies are quite bold and saunter about their enclosure or onto your hand seemingly without a care in the world. This could be because in a body this tiny, there isn't a lot of room for copious amounts of decision-making noodle goo in there. Or maybe they just haven't learned to be afraid of, well, everything. But I choose to believe that they are choosing to meet the world with kindness. Something we could all do, eh? Now, some sources suggest both males and female Eurys will protect and defend their young. But the vast majority of care or breeding guides that I've found state that you do need to separate the babies from the parents as soon as possible, because mom and dad may prey upon them, which is kind of the opposite of caring for your young in most cases. Maybe it's a wild versus captivity behavior thing, I don't know, and I prefer not to find out the hard way. So we've separated the babies into their own tiny enclosure for now. They are so cute, aren't they? Why, incidentally, did you say in most cases? That kind of tripped me up there.
Well, 1, I don't know everything.
Okay.
But 2, I'm sure that there are times, like there's that fish.
Big gropers.
Gropers, yeah. They'll like swallow and like put their children in their mouth when there's danger nearby, and then they will release them back out.
Yeah, release them back out. That's not eating
I
them.
think some don't get swallowed. Come on, some get swallowed.
Little problem child. Oh,
Yeah.
You were annoying there, little Timmy.
I can't believe you just said that.
I can't believe you haven't been eaten.
Okay, moving on.
Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed learning a little about these awesome and super underrated geckos. Even though they are small, I think these guys could easily rival crested or gargoyle geckos as contender for the best/easiest pet lizard to care for. Definitely a better pet lizard than Godzilla. They are adorable, super easy to care for, have lots of personality, and did we mention how adorable they are?
Not enough. I think
No?
it needs to be done 3 more times.
Do the honors.
They are adorable.
They are adorable.
They're adorable.
Stinking
So
adorable. What did you just say?
Okay, and you hit the
And I
camera.
bumped the camera. Just keep
What
going.
an outburst. Okay. Thanks to Mom for helping out. Thanks to Dad for that outburst of cuteness towards the babies. And thanks to everyone watching, and a special thanks to my patrons on Patreon. The best way to support my channel is to go check out patreon.com/allcanadianreptilegirl. If you sign up there, you'll get some extra stuff no one on YouTube or Instagram gets to see. But don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video. All of that really helps the channel. And until next time, remember to nurture all nature. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.